Hi, I'm Declan Connolly, founder of Bespoke Home Design, and thank you so much for checking out this 14-step terraced house advanced loft conversion execution plan. This execution plan comes with 39 drawings in both PDF and CAD format, which you can download below. The PDFs are for printing right now if you wish, and the CAD files are for editing with a relevant computer program. You also have a list of free computer programs these CAD files will work with, and these are listed on the second page of the PDF drawing pack. But before you go ahead and start using those drawings, you need to watch this presentation first, so you can understand what the drawings are all about. This presentation will show you how to make your home a whole lot bigger with a loft conversion. Now with this execution plan, I am giving you an advanced loft layout, and here we'll be extending the rear of the house as well as putting in a loft. And in this loft we'll put in a couple of bedrooms, a bathroom and a study out in the extension, so it's a lot bigger than the basic loft layout. However, it does build on the principles we covered in the basic loft execution plan. So I urge you to watch the basic loft execution plan first if you haven't already, as this more advanced one will make a lot more sense. Also, it's worth saying now, with lofts we need to be a bit creative with how we plan them out. Things like stairs access, headroom, drainage and utilities can be tricky. And that's even if a loft conversion is possible in the first place, as another big issue is the roof structure itself. Roof trusses tend to mean a total roof replacement to get a loft in there. Luckily, most terraced houses in the UK have cut timber roofs, which make it a lot easier to convert the space into a usable loft. Also, loft conversions are the cheapest type of extension you can do, providing your roof is suitable for one. Remember though, you will require planning permission to build this advanced loft conversion layout. If you're a full Bespoke Home Design library member, then you have access to the Planning Permission Guideline Report, which goes into how to get planning permission in great detail. And you will need a structural engineer to design the structure for you. We're getting into some pretty serious structural work here, so you might want to check out the Structural Work Guideline Report, which you also have access to if you're a full Bespoke Home Design library member. And if you're not, then what are you waiting for? The one final thing is that I have simplified the steps in this execution plan to be sequential, so it's easier to understand why we are doing each step. I have omitted some of the construction steps in this execution plan that must be carried out at the start of constructing a loft conversion, like moving water tanks, drainage, utilities, etc. But all those steps are covered in the Loft Conversion Guideline Report. The point of this execution plan is to show you what you can achieve with a loft conversion rather than getting bogged down in the minutiae that will be sorted out by a competent building contractor anyway. In other words, we're going straight to the good stuff. In this presentation, I'm going to give you an advanced loft conversion layout, and to get the most from your loft conversion, we're going to utilise the following 5 principles. Number 1, we're going to design each room in the loft with circulation between each room in mind. Number 2, we're going to get as much natural light and ventilation into the loft as we can. Number 3, we want to provide a connection to the outdoors where we can, although direct access to the front or rear garden isn't usually an option from the loft. Number 4, we're going to try and make each room multifunctional where possible. And finally, the 5th principle, which is maximising the space in the loft. We're going to try and use every square foot of space where possible, and with this advanced loft layout, we'll be taking this to the limit. So for starters, here is an open plan layout of your loft space. And just in case you're wondering, that's the flat roof over the first floor. And this is the roof over the ground floor extension that we cover in another execution plan. If we go back to the open plan, at this point, this is an open plan. It's got your roof joists in it. So in step 1, we need to appraise your roof, and listen now to what we need to do to turn it into a usable room. The structure in your roof probably looks very similar to this. And to start to open up the loft space, we will need to cut out the timbers in the middle, and we remove them like this, and replace them with some new structure that will hold your roof together. I've shown some steel beams here, but it really depends on how big your roof space is. But more often than not, you will require some steelwork in there, as it is stronger than timber, as we're removing quite a bit of the structure of the roof to give us the space in the middle for your loft conversion. The new structure also mustn't let the roof sag, as this will crack your tiles or slates and the waterproofing membrane, and you end up with a leaking roof. This is the first and most important step in this whole execution plan, because if you get this wrong, the whole thing goes to pot. And unfortunately, not all roofs are suitable for loft conversions, but that's all covered by a specific blog post on the Bespoke Home Design blog, so we won't cover it here. Once the main roof has been strengthened, we can now start constructing the remaining structure for the loft space. So with step 2, we'll remove the rear rafters from your roof. So we can construct a long window with a bit of wall at the end, and it's this that will raise the headroom of the entire loft space and give us a lot more usable square footage. The large window will give us a ton of natural light and ventilation into the loft space. Next, with step 3, we need to construct the stairs to access the loft. So we have placed it off to the side and in a place where we can get the required headroom in our newly raised loft roof and not have much of an impact on the floor below. With step 4, we are going to construct a rear extension on top of the first floor. Before you can go ahead and build this, you will need to check if your foundations can carry the extra weight of this extension. If you find they can't, there are things you can do to them to make them stronger. So with this extension, we simply continue the first floor walls up and put a flat roof on it. So we now have a second floor extension and we link the main loft space to this new space from the access stairs. We'll furnish the room in step 5, and in this example we'll put in a study. But it could just as easily be used as a home office or even another bedroom. The following steps now revolve around putting the room spaces in the loft itself. All the new walls from now on in will be made of lightweight timber stud. So next, in step 6, we could start to form the main corridor in the loft, as we were going to have several rooms in here and we need to get access to each. Then in step 7 we can construct the first bedroom, and you'll notice the walls are a funny shape. That's because in step 8 we will use these spaces for storage. So this is what the finished bedroom looks like. Next, in step 9 we'll form the second bedroom. And similarly to the first bedroom, we have a funny shape to it, and that's because we will form a long storage space here that runs the entire length of the front of the house. The head height here isn't enough to stand in anyway, so it is the perfect place to use for storage. One major issue we have with this room is that it will be very dark, so we will put in a couple of Velux roof lights here to brighten the place up with natural light and to ventilate the room too. Next up is the bathroom, and instead of a bathtub we'll put in a shower unit. Again, we're missing a bit here at the front of the room, and that's because in step 13 we put in a nice big storage space specifically for the bathroom. We could arrange the storage room to put some more access to the front storage space, or we could leave the rear wall out and make the bathroom even bigger. That's really up to you. And finally, in step 14 we put in a roof light for some natural light and ventilation, and like the other roof lights, this can be opened and closed as you wish. And here is the finished advanced loft. And that concludes this execution plan. I know this presentation is one of the more technical of the execution plans, and I've thrown a lot of info at you, so I would advise that you watch both loft execution plans several times and just let it all sink in. And I hope I've given you some ideas in this presentation. There are, of course, other things we can do with the house to make it bigger, such as tweak the layout of both the ground and first floors to unlock a load of space that's currently going to waste. We could do a ground floor extension if you haven't done one already, or even a basement conversion, and we have an execution plan for each of them too in the Bespoke Home Design Library, so make sure to check them out. And remember that if you have any questions or comments, then please post them in the Bespoke Home Design Brain Trust group on Facebook. And don't forget, if there is a topic you would like us to create an execution plan for, then also let us know. And finally, there's a lot more stuff here in your membership area to check out, and I hope you get a lot of value from it. I'll see you in the next video.